Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are going to just chat a little bit about some of the homeschool enrichment activities or programs and how we use them in our home. So when I say homeschool enrichment, I mean like nature studies and poetry tea time is a big one. Things like that, like those extra kind of hands-on. I would even consider like morning basket could be a homeschool enrichment. That could be where you're getting your extra reading time in. Things like that, just those extra things that you do to enhance or enrich your homeschool. Now, before we get too far into this video, I do want you guys to know this is a continued collaboration with Abby over at Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way. And so there's going to be an entire playlist of enrichment ideas, activities, conversations, things regarding homeschool enrichment in that playlist. And I do want you to know that my video is probably going to be pretty different than what you're going to get through that playlist. And mainly that's because we don't have a specific enrichment. And I'm just gonna kind of chit chat here and kind of give some thoughts and things that I have learned. And yeah, so let's just get into it. While you're watching the videos in the playlist, whether I am somewhere in the middle or at the beginning or however it is working out for you, if you are new, hello, welcome. I have this feeling when things like this are shared, when we're getting these, you know, all of these big book hauls, or we're getting curriculum picks, or there are kind of these seasons that we go through in homeschool that show up on social media. For me personally, it tends to create this feeling of overwhelm, and it kind of stirs up these thoughts of maybe I should try this, maybe I should do that, maybe I should, you know, add these things in. And so I want this video to just serve as a reminder that you don't have to do all the things. You can't do all of the things. And not all of the things are for you. There are going to be really, really great ideas, and some of those ideas may work for you, but you don't have to do all of them. And some of them may not work for you. Personally, as I said before, we don't really do them because I can't do them. I don't know what it is with the season of schooling that we're in. Maybe because I'm a brand new homeschooler. Maybe because my daughter is just now getting to be 6. So she's 5.5. She'll be 6 in a couple of months. And so I was feeling these feelings of stress and overwhelm, and I have to add this and I have to do this. And it was like, why? Why do I have to do those things? Part of me felt as though I needed to be adding those things in because people who had been doing this longer than I had, that had obviously much more experience than I did, were doing these things. So I felt as though, okay, well, if they are doing them, then maybe that means we need to do them. I always had this, you know, thought in the back of my mind, like maybe this may not work. This may not be something for us, but I've got to try it. You don't have to try it. I mean, you can, right? You can try anything, and it's very possible that you'll find something that works for you. The point I'm trying to get to is you can still have a good, successful homeschool without having all of the extras. For me, what I consider to be enrichment currently in our home is starting a new garden, life skills. We're currently working on character development. We do read alouds. We do at times have nature study. We are a unit study family, and so with each unit, it kind of takes on its own form, and sometimes we get a little bit of those extra enrichment type activities with artist studies, or like I said, nature studies or nature journaling. Sometimes we'll have poetry, but those are things that I am able to manage. The way that they are presented with unit studies, it's easier for me, if that makes sense. I don't have this overwhelming feeling of trying to tie all of these things together. How do I make it work? I'm scrambling around. I just don't do well with that. It's not a gift that comes naturally to me, as some homeschool moms have. And so it's overwhelming to me. Maybe that will come with, time and with practice. And as I get more into homeschooling and learning all of the things and unlearning all of the things, that may be something that's a little bit easier for me to navigate. But I feel that with new homeschoolers or relatively new homeschooling families, moms, dads, grandparents, whoever's going to be doing the schooling, yeah, there's enough overwhelm at the beginning anyway, just making the decision to homeschool. What does this look like? How do I even make this work for my family? What happens with my budget? How do I make this fit? There are so many things that already happen. I think when we add in, we're like, okay, great, you got your curriculum. That's so fantastic. So now you need to add an hour of this. You need to add an hour of this. Maybe you should throw in 15 minutes of this, take a break for that. And then it's like, oh my goodness, I thought all I had to do was math and language arts, and now I have to do all of these other things. You don't. You don't. Sure, you want to add things in as you can, but it's okay if you don't do all of the other things. Also, I do want to add this in. I'm not saying enrichment is bad. Obviously, it's a fantastic thing. And there is so much that you can do in those things and through, studying nature outside and through learning about different artists and things like that. There just has to be a point where we realize this is a sticking point. This is a stressor. Is this of higher importance than some of the other things? What am I neglecting in order to maintain this in my homeschool? And if you're neglecting some of the very basic needs and necessities of your homeschool, then maybe we should take that thing out and just give it a rest for a minute. Just take a break. It's okay if we didn't get 3 poets in this month. We focused on kindness and we focused on, chores or whatever it is that needs to be handled, or maybe that you just need to focus a little bit more on instead of getting those other things done. I will say there are some really, really great ideas, and I am quite sure they will be all in the playlist. So please don't take this as a discouragement. I don't want to discourage you from doing those extra things. I just want to remind you that it's okay if you've decided that those are not things that are going to work for you. If you look around and you really kind of put a microscope on your day as a homeschool parent, I guarantee you there are things that you can find that you do that enrich your home, that provide additional learning opportunities and experiences, things like that. Something as simple as reading a bedtime story. Enrichment doesn't always have to be this designated time with this designated activity. While those can be very helpful, especially if they tie into other subjects or things like that, absolutely. But you don't always have to do it that way. There are other ways that learning happens. So just off the top of my head, this is a list. Let me give you a list of things that I consider enrichment, which I've kind of already touched on a handful of them, but let's just go off the top of the head here. So we have read alouds. We have personal reading, so what my daughter reads on her own. There are TV shows and movies and things that we watch. So some things on screens that can be helpful and can teach. We have a garden. This is our first year having a full garden outside. There's a lot of learning that's happened with the garden. We have chickens. My father-in-law and mother-in-law, they have dogs. So we've got animals, there's horses, and we've got cows. And so there's animals there. Those things are learning opportunities. Anytime we go visit anywhere, so the museums, the zoo, we're going to be taking a trip to an aquarium in a couple of months. So that's going to be what I would consider enrichment. But I also consider making sure that you get things done in the morning that you should. Brush your hair, brush your teeth, get dressed, make your bed, all of those things, those daily life skills that I consider enrichment. Helping cook dinner, again, life skills. There are a lot of things that at this age, at my daughter's age, almost 6, those are things that I consider helpful to our homeschool. It's all encompassing. If the goal is to raise up a productive member of society, then those things count. Cooking. I want her to go cook. Actually, we went to the fair. Side note, kind of, but kind of ties in. We had our county fair not too long ago. We went and there was a section that was kind of like a historic section of the fair. And she got to learn how to make lye soap. Perfect for us, we just came out of living off the land a couple of weeks ago. So she learned how to make lye soap. And then with that lye soap, she learned how to wash clothes. And then she pushed an old lawnmower. And what else? There was gardens. So she learned about square foot gardening. She learned about corn husk dolls and rag dolls. There were so many things, and that was just at the fair. We only spent a couple of hours there. There are a lot of things. So just as you go through this playlist, I really, really hope that you guys get some really good ideas, maybe some book recommendations, maybe some field trip recommendations, things like that. But I just want to reiterate that it should not overwhelm you. Don't allow it to overwhelm you and have these thoughts, these negative thoughts and feelings that you're not doing enough in your homeschool. Sure, maybe you could add a couple of things in. Fine, but not to the point where the other parts of your homeschool are declining and you guys are just going through the motions. There are seasons where that happens. But if it's just this constant day-to-day, let's just hurry up, then maybe it's time to reevaluate those things. And maybe you should take a couple of those extra things away and just kind of do a reset. I am speaking to myself here a little bit as well. We recently went through a reset because I too was trying to do all of these things. This basket and these activities, and I'm like, this is too much. It was way too much. It was way too stressful. And I scaled it all the way back. As you guys, I've talked about a handful of times, we have one basket and that's it. What is in there? That is all of the school. There are extra things in there like a history unit. We get to it when we get to it. Quite honestly, we haven't done it in several weeks. There are Bible verse cards. We'll pick those up kind of, whenever we feel like it. There are extra things in there, but it's one basket. And that has made a world of difference. I do want to eventually add some more things in, but when it seems right, when it seems appropriate, and when we get back on a better rhythm and flow. We still have not quite nailed that down yet. And so now's not the time to add in things when we're still trying to figure out what we're doing and when we're doing it. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys found this helpful. Don't forget to check the playlist down in the description below, and make sure you check out Abby and Jessica's channels. They are linked in the description as well. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.